The Senate adjourned for some time without reaching a deal. So the question is, will there be one? They're not there in D.C., but they could still hypothetically come to some sort of understanding. Well, Trump was asked about what role he could play in making that happen, and here's what he had to say.
After 3 weeks of absolutely no deal, you have been ragging on Democrats constantly. Why not come to the table personally and sit with them?
So I think we've done very well. We've had 3 phases. We're into phase 4. We've gotten everything we wanted, and we've also gotten a great economy. All you have to do is take a look at these charts. Our economy is doing good. But we want different things than them. I want money for the people. They want money to bail out Democrat governors and Democrat mayors. Listen to me. Listen to me. My people are doing very good, and my people call me. They're in the office. They call me. They call me when it's right. Nobody knows the deal better than I do. When it's right, I'll meet. But right now, it's not right. They want $1 trillion to bail out badly run states. They're Democrat. They're Democrat states. Will something happen? Possibly. But I want to tell you, the country is doing very well right now. We can live very happily with it, without it.
Okay, so lots of issues there. But I mean, the takeaway line from that is we're doing very well. We could live with it or without it. If stimulus happens, it happens. If not, it doesn't. And I think he was very honest about that. The sort of people that he actually represents are weathering this just fine. They're making money hand over fist. And they honestly don't care if a deal ever gets passed, because the part they want, the huge corporate slush fund, that was in the first one. They've got that. That's secured. They're going to be tapping into that for some time. And if, more enhanced unemployment comes, okay, fine, maybe. But that's not what they're actually clamoring for.
No, of course not. I mean, the urgency is gone, right? Like, completely gone. Mnuchin, again, got what he wanted. All of his friends got the bailouts that they wanted. Ruth's Chris has been protected. And now, what's the incentive? It's really just to wield it over Democrats and bask in the misery that you're creating. And it's funny, a week ago, we were talking about executive orders. Notice how almost a week later, Trump is not even talking about those executive orders. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know what they are because they don't mean anything. They are completely empty. But he didn't even say things like, okay, student loans are deferred until the end of the year. Continue to be deferred. Oh, thank you, Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't care. Look, and the way he talks about Americans, listen to his last thing that he said, oh, if there's a good deal, I'm going to come to the table. We, at this point, are like a condo on the Upper West Side. It's a fixer-upper, terrible water pressure, and it's like we're falling apart pretty much on the Upper West Side. Great real estate, we're falling apart, and the president's like, cheaper, and I'll come and sign. When there's less, when we do less for this place, I'll come and sign that deal.
Yeah, and the way that he talked about the deal, my people are doing very good. Yeah, but we don't have a deal. You're saying we don't have a deal. How good are they doing? They've apparently been negotiating for 3 months, and we've got nothing. But he knows all the details. I'm sure that he does. And he says, that we're doing fine with the pandemic. We've been through 3 phases. We're into the 4th. What were those phases? The first one was the devastating initial blow and the lockdowns. I guess the second was where people tried to pretend that there was no pandemic. And then the third was exciting when it hit us again and deaths went up to 1,500 a day. And now we're into the 4th, which so far looks like 95% of the third. I don't know. The way that he talks about it.
It's the first 3 combined, John. It's exactly that. We're tired of this. We're completely scared, and there's no end in sight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels so disconnected from the reality of what's happening. It's not necessarily disconnected from how some people think about the pandemic. I think that there have been so many different things happening over the past few months, the objective of which is to get you to stop caring. That's all Fox has been doing now since March 15th, basically, is variations on the strategy of, here's reasons you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about this because it's technically just 5G towers, or you don't have to worry about this because it's anti-constitutional or something. They just go through all these different things. And Trump has, of course, been doing that as well. And honestly, when you go this many months without the Democrats able to accomplish anything to help people out, the assumption from the American people, I think, justifiably becomes, how much could they possibly care about this? That they haven't really done anything in months. Now, yes, if it was totally on them, perhaps they would have. but they still haven't delivered, and they're in that room with Trump's great negotiators. Anyway, the entire thing, incredibly frustrating. Again, he was being very honest at the end. He believes that not only do his donors, the people he cares about, the economic elites, they can live with it or without it, but he also means politically that he really has decided, and we're going to talk about polls later on, he's decided that for his own political prospects, he doesn't need to do any better. For Republicans running for re-election, he doesn't have to do anything better. And we could cruise into the election with over 200,000 people having died and, an eviction crisis that's exploding all around us. And he believes, perhaps rightly, that that's not going to significantly imperil his chances of getting reelected.
No, he will ride white identity politics and cheat right up until November. And worst comes to worst, and he loses, he'll find a way just not to leave office. Find a way to say that it was rigged. I mean, this is the whole point. He wins either way with the post office meddling. It's actually kind of brilliant because if he loses, he can say that there was fraud, right? And look, the post office has been completely destroyed. All of my ballots were in the mail. It's like, you did the destroying.
Yeah.
And if he wins, then hey, then it worked. Then the cheating worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.